Welcome to part 2 of the video tutorial on the Remedy4 self-upgrade process, outlining the post-upgrade process. I'm going to walk you through how to configure profile level permissions after an upgrade. If you're using BMC Remedy4's profiles or custom permission sets to manage permissions for your users, you might need to manually configure the updated profile level permissions in a release. If you've self-upgraded, selecting and assigning access for specific profiles as performed in part 1 of this video series, you will not need to perform these steps. However, customers who receive an auto push will need to perform these steps for updating profile level permissions. Also note, if you're using BMC Remedy4's out-of-the-box permission sets, you will not need to perform these steps. You will only need to enable new features after your organization is upgraded. After each release, the wiki lists profile level access you must configure for new Visualforce pages, Apex classes, and objects that have been added in the latest release. To configure profile level permissions after an upgrade, let's navigate to the wiki. And then we are going to go ahead and search for configuring profile level permissions. For new features. All right. So now there are two things that I see here. I've got instructions specifically on how to update the profile level permissions, but I've also got the permissions themselves, and that's what we're going to use to walk through this process. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the latest release and the associated profiles. And as you can see, this table shows me the different permissions for the Visualforce pages for each of the various profiles. And if I scroll down, it also gives me permissions for Apex classes, and further down will be the permissions for the object settings. So what we're going to do is we are first going to look at Visualforce page permissions, and we're going to focus on the Service Desk staff profile. So let's go ahead and flip back to our org, and we want to go ahead and pull up the profiles. And again, I'm looking for Service Desk staff. And then on the overview page, let's go ahead and just go right to the Visualforce page access. So these are all of the various permissions that are already enabled. So let's go through and edit that, because really what I'm trying to do when I'm associating the new permissions is I want to cross-reference what's available with the new release versus what's already enabled. So if we jump back here, so the first two for Service Desk staff that are new with this release is the BMC Service Desk admin location page and the model page. So let's go ahead and look for those. So I'm going to scroll down here and I see, there we go. I see the admin location page. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I also see the model page. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then let's look at what we've got next. We've got the advanced search filter as well as the deep view. Those are the next two. So let's go back to our org. And we've got the advanced search, which I don't see here. So let's take a look at our enabled pages. And I do see that right here. So it's already enabled. We can pass that. But that next one was Service Desk Deep View. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. So if I come back here, we've gone through a couple examples. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and continue down the Service Desk staff permission set or permissions here and make sure that all of these that are checked for Service Desk staff are enabled. Let's go ahead and take a quick example for Apex classes as well. So for Service Desk staff, the first one we see is Deep View. So let's come back to our org. We're going to go ahead and save what we did for the Visualforce page access, and you can go ahead and finish those in your org. And once this finishes saving, we are going to go ahead and move right over to the Apex classes. And again, we're going to edit that. And I'm looking in the available classes for the Deep View controller, which I see here. So I'm doing the same procedure that I did for the Visualforce page access here with Apex classes. I'm going to go ahead and add it. And then we're going to say we're just going to take that one example. So if I come back here, again, you'd want to just continue down the list for service desk staff. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and repeat these steps to configure permissions, continue configuring rather permissions for the new Apex classes, the Visualforce page access, as well as new objects and fields. So once you finish configuring for the service desk staff for each of those three, you're going to want to go ahead and repeat those steps for the remaining profiles for which you've configured Service Desk Change Manager, Service Desk Client, and certainly any of the Service Desk staff levels of access that you installed when you installed the managed package, any of the cloned profiles. I also wanted to take a minute to just note too, if you're upgrading from a few releases prior to the latest release, you must configure the updated profile level permissions for each interim release. So let's again, we've saved this in our org. So I'm going to flip back here. This concludes our video tutorial on configuring profile level permissions after the upgrade. Wanted to thank you for watching. And if you've got any questions, please reach out to your CSM or email remedyforsuccess@bmc.com. And just wanted to also make note that we do have the wiki link here, as well as the section that you want to go to see not only the step-by-step procedures that we walked through, but also to see the table of the permissions for each of those three components, the Visualforce pages, the Apex classes, and the object settings. Thanks for watching.